Okay, this is going to be the best credit cards for Amazon FBA, and we're going to get right to it. Give the couple credit cards that I would suggest using. If you even want to use credit at all, we'll talk about if you want to use credit or not. And then afterwards, we'll just go ahead and answer some questions and just hang out in the chat. So feel free to stick around if you want to. So we got Christiana. Let's go. We got Entrepreneurial. Yo, good to see you. So best credit cards. They're basically the philosophy is you need to be using a credit card that is going to fulfill the purpose that you need it to fulfill. So what things would you actually want a credit card to do? Some people, they just want really big limits that they can spend and scale to the moon with. Fair enough. So that's one purpose for credit cards. Another purpose for credit cards is the cash back. So some credit cards, they give 1, 2, some even 3% cash back. Some give cash back in the form of points that you can use for travel and hotels. There are, I feel like those are the two main purposes that you'd want credit for. You can, yeah, so there's high limits, there's cash back, and then also some credit cards, you can use them in a certain way so that you don't have to pay them back as much, like for as long. So basically 0% APR cards. They're basically loans for 9, 12, 18, 24 months. And so those can be really good for helping you scale. And so my personal favorite credit card right now is this one is just really good for two main reasons. The main reason that I like the Capital One Spark credit card is because it gives 2% cash back. This is really nice if you're running your Amazon FBA business, mostly liquid, and you have money to back it up and just pay it off every single month. Because on every single purchase that I am making with the Capital One Spark, I'm getting 2% cash back. So just to put it into some perspective, this year I haven't even put all of my spend through the Capital One Spark, but I've put it through a lot of other cards as well. And I've made around $7,000 off of just cash back this year. And so using cash back can be really helpful. I also find that this credit card has a really high limit. Beware of this though. Earlier in the spring, I put a lot of money on the Capital One Spark. They gave me a 70,000 limit. And you do have to be aware that they have a 3% interest if you don't pay it off. So thankfully, I was able to pay it off before getting hit with most of that, but you definitely got to be aware of that. Basically, if you don't have money to back it up, don't be putting a ton of money on a credit card with a 30-day payoff. And that would be why something like a 0% APR card is good. So there's a lot of different 0% APR cards. A lot of cards, when you apply for them, they will basically have a promotion to get you to sign up for the card that there's a 0% APR for 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. And so for the 0% option, there's a lot of different options. I personally have the FNBO Evergreen card. They gave me only a $7,000 limit, but that was helpful in scaling for a while. And I'm also getting Chase card offers in the mail. They have some amazing 0% APR cards. I have not signed up for them yet, but I've heard great things about Chase. So, and they also have sign up bonuses, which are nuts, like $900 to just spend $6,000 in 3 months. So if you're doing online arbitrage, you can definitely do that. So the 0% APR card, it's kind of like all over the place. There's a bunch of different cards that you can use, but basically the whole goal is you have money you can spend on inventory. You don't have to pay it back for 12 to 24 months, which is a big deal. The third purpose for cards, I would say we kind of touched on cashback. Oh, one more for cashback. I just started using the eBay MasterCard. That one is giving me 3% back in points that I can use on extra purchases in the future. So far, I've really liked that card. I haven't fully tested it yet, but 3%, that's absolutely insane. even better than the Spark. If you source from eBay, that is a great one. The next purpose for cards, let's see, what do? We did cashback, we did 0% APR, and just big limits. If you just want big limits, Capital One Spark is really good. MX Gold is really good. If you want kind of like a hybrid between a 0% APR card and something with big limits, something like the Amex Plum is really good for an inventory-based business, because what's special about this card is it gives you 60 days to pay it back instead of the traditional 30 days. So this can be really good when trying to get one turn of inventory in and be able to actually pay it back on time. So that's the Amex Plum. That's one of my favorite cards as well. But my personal favorite continues to be the Capital One Spark. If you're liquid and you have money backed up behind your credit, I would say that's your best option overall. So we got Kevin, hi from Nigeria. Good to see you. Good to see you. We got Raking Profit. Smash that like button. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Yeah, that was just a very quick, basic rundown on credit. I tried to summarize as much as possible. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Yeah, you basically just need to get the thing that is going to suit the purpose that you need it for. Like, do you need cash back? Do you need 0% APR? Do you need travel reward points? There's a bunch of different options when it comes to credit. And we could also go into this as well, whether or not you should even use credit in your Amazon FBA business. So to answer this question, I'm going to kind of go into a little bit of background of how I've been doing Amazon the last year or so. So last year, I was transitioning from selling books to doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. I stopped doing books in around May of last year, transitioned to online arbitrage and retail arbitrage. And I was doing anywhere between 10 and around 18K in sales per month. The margins were very good. So that was full-time income for me. But like, was never really like scaling super hard, was always just using the cash that I had invested in the business, cash from eBay, cash from books. But come around November of last year, I decided it would be a good idea to try using a 0% APR card. So I used a 0% APR card that had a $10,000 limit in order to buy inventory for December. And very quickly ended up doing 31K in December with really good margins as well. So that cash injection really helped a ton. But the downside to that is you can definitely get a little carried away and continue to get more and more credit and feel the need to scale and scale and scale forever and ever and ever and faster and faster. And at some point, you'll wake up and realize if I get suspended, this is a problem because I don't have money to back this. So there needs to be some kind of balance there when it comes to credit and what your risk tolerance is. We got Joji in the chat. Sup, guys? Good to see you, Joji. Good to see you. Yeah. And so when it came to credit this summer, I decided to really go back and have much less on credit, because at some point when you go to a casino and you just keep betting and betting and betting, you don't want to have everything on the line. And if your business goes under and you have 90,000 in credit card debt, that's a big problem. Whereas if you just roll with cash, you'll be very sad if something goes wrong, but much, much better of a situation. Entrepreneurial says cashback debit cards are where it's at. I'm curious, which one are you using? Is it just the one for your bank? Josiah and I have talked about this before, and he has a really good point about the distinction between using a debit card and a credit card. Basically, when you're using a debit card, you feel like that is the money that you have. I need to actually be like wise and careful about this. Um, with a credit card, sometimes you might feel like, oh, like my limit is $30,000, but I might only have 12K in the bank. Like I can spend that $30,000. Um, so it gets a little dicey at that point, because I think credit card companies do purposely design their credit cards so that people spend more on the credit cards than they would have if they were just using cash. Because of the ease factor, because of the points, because of it's just easy to spend on a credit card. So there is a good argument for that. Potentially, you could raise your margin just by the psychological effect of, I literally need to spend money on really good stuff and only really good stuff. We got Joji saying, I love the sign up bonuses on the Chase credit cards. Travel the world for free. I literally got a Chase card today, and the letter says you can get $900 for spending $6,000 in 3 months. And so just to put it in perspective, this month I think I spent 21,000 on inventory. So that would be very doable to hit that. Entrepreneur is saying, I've used PayPal's card in the past, currently only using the one from my bank. Okay, so it's connected to your bank then. And so they give cash back there. Another thing that you can do is if you don't want to use credit, you can use something like Top Cashback or Rakuten, and those will give you a few extra percentage points on your purchases as well. Totally agree, though, that leveraging is risky. Yeah, and I mean, like, I do feel like there is a difference between leveraging when you don't have money to back it up, and just like leveraging, like, yep, I just spent 50 grand on inventory on a 0% APR card. That's very, very, very different. And so just like if you were going to spend your thousands on books anyways, just if you run it through the Chase card and get your points, makes a lot more sense. I just picked up that card about a month ago. It had 0% APR. I think it was like 18 months or something. Yeah, I'm actually considering getting that one. Just gotta put in like 30 minutes to an hour and set up the card and like make sure everything's running. And yeah. And people love Chase. I know so many people who just absolutely love Chase. And I don't think I have any of their cards either. So, another distinction here, big distinction too. I can't believe I forgot to talk about this. If you're signing up for credit cards, get business credit cards, especially if you're doing like 0% APR cards. Because what's going to happen is if you do a 0% APR card on a personal card, what's going to happen is your utilization, the amount of money that you have spent out of your credit card limit, is going to go up. And therefore, your credit score is going to go down. And so, if this literally happened to me last December, I signed up for a 0% APR card, but it was a personal card. So I thought that was like fine. I didn't even know the difference. I didn't have an LLC at the time. And I just had that $10,000 just sitting there. I think my total limit at the time was like 35,000. So a third of my limit was just sitting there. And then I was using other cards for inventory as well. So my credit score went down as I wanted to scale. So as I wanted to scale and get more credit, my score was down. So that was a massive mistake. That was a major pain. It took several months to correct. Joji says, love the credit card rewards, but I'd only recommend it to people if they can pay off what they owe in full and on time forever. Clearly, this isn't the case, which is why these offers exist. Yeah. Yep. there's that. And also, I guess I kind of don't see how the credit card. Oh, yeah, actually, I do see how the credit card companies benefit. Um, so, what I was going to say is there's this that people don't pay off their stuff, but people also spend more and they spend through that company's credit card. And most of these credit cards have deals set up with vendors that the vendors have to pay a pretty big fee in order to service their credit card. So, like, some vendors have to pay like several percentage points per every single transaction. And who does that go to? The credit card company. So, they're literally paying the cash back through that and making a ton more because of it. So, like, they're incentivized to get you to spend, even if they're giving you the 1%, the 2%. Like, if they're charging the vendor 5%, sick, perfect. I'd take that any day. Plus the point that Joji, you're saying that some people don't even pay it off. Yeah, then they really make a ton of money. We got Jose. What's up, guys? Good to see you. Welcome. We've been talking about credit, talked about all the different credit cards and their purposes. Yeah, I feel like I kind of hit all the ones that I like. I think I don't use any of the Chase cards, and so I don't know a ton about those, but everything else. No wonder why Warren Buffett owns American Express. Money moves. Exactly. Joji, are you getting set up for January textbook season? Is that like a thing you're preparing for right now and have been? But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of people who sign up for cards and they just convert them all to Hyatt points or other hotel points, and they just book the hotels with the cheapest rates, and they literally have nights and nights and nights for free. Yeah. Yes, sir. Trying to hit 50K. Trying to do a 50K January. That'd be sick. Probably at a great margin too. That'd be sick. Textbook season. I only have the American Express Blue business card worth 2% cash back up to 50K. I mean, 50K is a nice limit though, so you can do a lot with 50K. Yeah, so I got the American Express Blue Everyday card as my first credit card for trying to scale, and at that time I didn't know the difference between a business and a personal card. So a business card, the utilization doesn't get reported to your credit score usually, which is nice because you can still have your big credit limit and apply for other cards oftentimes. But with the personal, if you just go spend that 50K and it's on your personal, which is not the case, you'd be done for trying to get other cards. Your score would just go down and down and down. Yeah, that would be really cool. And like I feel like textbook season is just a nuts time because all the books go up. Like there's not as many there's opportunities where stuff goes up, but it's harder to find, I feel like, with other things. One thing I might prepare for better for like August, September next year is I might go like really hard into calculators because calculators just go like absolutely bonkers, like velocity wise. Like I could just stock as many as I want and they would all sell. The price increase isn't as much as textbooks at all, but the velocity is just nuts. My wife and I have 300K Chase Ultimate Rewards cards, 150K Southwest points, 100K Marriott points, 50K British Airway points, all from Bookaway. So far, it's paid for a honeymoon in Hawaii and last summer trip to Costa Rica. Jeez, nice, man. That's awesome. I feel like, yeah, if you're really intentional about it, you can do a lot with those points. Sounds like you're being really intentional about it. For me, I'm just like, cash back. Give me all the cash back. But the thing about travel is that you can convert it at better rates oftentimes. Because, like, the max rate I'm getting with cash back is 3% for the eBay MasterCard, and usually only 2% for the Spark. You can get better rates, I think, with travel. Jose is saying, I think if you wait 6 months, you're able to open a new one without hurting your credit. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, so I mean, I opened that card about a year ago now. So I don't know, maybe I could convert it to a business card. It's if I get another 0% APR card, it's probably going to be I think it's the Chase Inc. or something like that. I don't know. It's the Chase something. Just the big sign up bonus. Give me that $900. Oh, we alternate opening a new card every one every 1.5 months. Oh, I see. Yeah, I last credit card I opened was the eBay MasterCard. And I did that like directly only for the cashback. Cuz like I purchased through eBay for a majority of my inventory, so when I heard that was 3%, that's great. It's almost like Kohl's Cash. Not quite that good, but oh, speaking of Kohl's, and Walmart, some of these retail sites, if you're doing regular online arbitrage, they'll have a credit card through the site. So Walmart, for example, they have the Capital One Walmart card, 5% cash back on all purchases at Walmart. And then Kohl's, I think they also have a 5% cashback card on their site, which is like, it's basically an extra 5% off anything, which is almost as good as tax exemption, which is really, really, really good. Chase Inc. and Chase Inc. Unlimited, both 90K Chase Ultimate Rewards points with a 0 annual fee. Hit me up, Seth. I have a referral link. Heck yeah. If I'm going to sign up for it anyways, why not? Both make some money. I thought Kohl's can cancel your Kohl's Cash if they figure out you're doing OA. Yeah, but I mean, the people who had their Kohl's Cash canceled are louder than the people who haven't had their Kohl's Cash canceled. I don't think most people get their Kohl's Cash canceled. That's hard to say. Kohl's Cash canceled. I know Taylor Jones Official had his canceled. I think Ben Books the World had his canceled. And they both had several $1,000s of it at the time, which is a big bummer. Both of them are like pretty big, solid Amazon sellers, though. So they were doing some volume through Kohl's. So you could probably do some serious damage before something happens. But yeah, on that note, thank you for hanging out, guys. I am going to head off, but good to talk about credit cards and definitely use them responsibly. Be very careful with it, but also be aware of the tools that are at your disposal. And Jose, as we wrap up, is it because they were not using it fast enough? They probably just stacked it too high, most likely. And they were just buying a ton. I don't quite know. But yeah, hope you guys have a good night and take care. Oh, also, if you guys are around at 11 a.m. Eastern, tomorrow morning. Echo Flips and Rake and Profit and I are going to be on the live stream tomorrow morning. So come hang out. If you can't be there, it'll be up for the replay as well. So hope you guys have a great rest of your night and take care.